You see, men over time change not based on what they see from other men. Men pretty much change based on what women value. So if women value a man wearing skirts, I can promise you, you're gonna see a bunch of dudes walking around the streets with mini skirts. If that's what it takes to get poom poom in their mentality. And that's the same thing with where we are today. Is that the men that we see today, unfortunately, ladies, is a reaction to you. Because if women didn't like men the way they are today, women pretty much are the ones that select how men are going to behave, and men follow. All right? So we're going to talk about some of the traits and some of the psychology of the modern man. So the first one is that men will be whatever a woman wants them to be. That's the first one. All right? And we already explained that. And the second thing is that men also do not look for celibacy as much as they did in the past. Nowadays, it's normal for a woman to have sex with a guy, to tell a guy they're dating other guys, and for the guy not to see them as somebody who's promiscuous. And the reason why that is because it is that promiscuity is pretty much relative to everybody else. So if you're in a culture where it's average for a woman to have sex with 10 guys in 2 years, as an example, and you're a girl that's been with 15 guys, in that place, you're relatively somebody who is promiscuous. But if you're in a place where the average woman has sex with 30 guys, as an example, a year, as an example, all right, calm down, people. And you're a woman, that same woman goes to that culture, and you're only being with 15 guys. Now, relatively, you are somebody who's pretty celibate, right? You're somebody who has not celibate, who has chastity, right? So chastity, guys in our culture, not in Asian countries or African countries, right? But in the Americas and Europe or Russia and stuff like that, guys are not gonna date. They don't need you to be a virgin, all right? So that's one thing. Understand that. Now, it doesn't mean that you advertise that you're hooking up with a bunch of men, because even though guys like that, guys like women who are pretty promiscuous, but it's only for short-term sex for the most part. The next thing is that a lot of these guys men that you date for the most part online, if you're meeting guys exclusively online, there's a high likelihood that you're trying to get with the same guy that every woman is trying to get. You have to understand is that there's an 80-20 principle or even worse, a 90-10 principle where 10% of the guys get 90% of the women. And 10% of the guys, and then the 90% of the guys only have access to 10% of the women for the most part. But the point is that dating guys online, you're pretty much putting yourself in a difficult position, because if you say yes to a guy, most likely he's the type of guy that most women say yes to. There's a complete and utter imbalance. So those types of guys that you meet online are gonna be more flaky. They're gonna be more difficult because those guys get a lot of dates, right? You think you're the only one that notices that he's cute? You really think you're the only one? And that's why if you exclusively focus online, you're gonna have a tough time dating, because a lot of those guys are desired. Now, if you want to have an easier time dating, lower your standards in terms of looks, and give decent, average-looking guys a try, and see what happens. You're gonna be surprised a lot of the times. If you'd be surprised if you give people enough time, you end up liking them. If you just judge them based on their character, which goes to the next point. Meeting men in real life is still the best method, because when you meet men in real life, you're not as superficial, right? You have context as to who he is, who he knows, his background. You kind of have some context. If he has a girlfriend or if he doesn't have a girlfriend, those types of guys, for the most part, are average. They don't really deviate from the norm. Guys you meet in real life. They're usually not the most attractive people. They're good looking, but they're not the top 10% on Tinder. They're not the top 10% on online profile. So that's your best bet. And in fact, meeting people online always leads to longer marriages, always leads to longer relationships. Meeting people, no, in person, right? But meeting people online, especially men, usually leads to relationships that are a lot shorter. The second thing is that nowadays men demand way too much from women in terms of their sexuality. And that's why women react to those high standards with them wanting to get bigger butts, bigger cheeks, bigger lips, bigger boobs, and stuff like that. Women are not just doing that because they're going crazy. Women are doing that because they're noticing that men, especially high value, superficially high value men who have a lot of money and power, those are the types of women that they're usually chasing. So women get those cues from top bottom and begin to assume that regular guys want that. When in reality, I could promise you, most dudes prefer a girl without plastic surgery. And now, if you already have what you have, it is what it is. It's fine. It's not like it's gonna kill you. You're still gonna find somebody who loves you. What I'm trying to say is that it's a lot better to keep it normal and simple. So the next thing about the modern man is that they still prefer a woman who depends on them. As liberal as they come across, deep down, every man has a conservative attraction towards women who come across as though they need you. It's something primal. It's like every person, one of the reasons why people love children or animals is because they feel needed. It's a deep desire in people to feel like they're needed by somebody else. It's pleasurable. It could be one of the reasons why people have children. So even if you're an independent woman, it's totally fine to have your own job. I'm not saying not to do that, people, okay? What I'm saying is that relatively to all the other independent women, you want to come across as though you need the guy a little bit more. So if you make a lot of money, if you're really independent, you want to show him that you have some vulnerabilities. Maybe you need emotional support more. Maybe you let him know that you're not happy with how much money you make because maybe it alienates people or it makes people jealous, or maybe having so much independence, sometimes you get depressed and you need emotional support. What I'm saying is that a lot of women who are very independent, who are very successful in life, a lot of times they do so to cover up their weaknesses and insecurities. And they assume that if they hide those insecurities and show how independent they are, that men will get turned on. You're looking at it from a guy's perspective. From a woman's perspective, you assume that because women want a guy who's independent. Women want a guy who is 100% assured of himself. And the sad thing, and you could say it's sexist, but guys want a woman who needs them, who emotionally needs their support, not using them, but that it's a mutual relationship where both of you guys satisfy each other based on your needs, right? So it's kind of like it's a problem, and I can promise you, a lot of rich, successful women, they struggle with keeping relationships because they could be really intimidating. There's a lot of factors towards a successful woman, which I've made plenty of videos about in the past, right? Another thing about male nature is that of today is that a lot of these guys that you're meeting that are that are super nerdy, super quiet, they're not creepy. A lot of these creepy guys that women say that are creepy, a lot of them just have autism, and they're just not diagnosed. You know the types of guys that talk like this, that are like fall in love really fast, and they don't make a lot of eye contact, and they get really obsessive, and they're really smart and nerdy. That's really I'm not gonna diagnose people, but a lot of the times it's just autism. You know, like a lot, and because there's higher levels of autism now than before. So a lot of women are encountering guys who just don't know they have it, and they're usually artists, musicians, actors, anyone in the entertainment and creative field, especially who are very charismatic in real life, in on camera, or people who are comedians, who are a lot of the times they have slight autism, and a lot of times what you think is weird is just somebody who has awkward social interactions. A lot of times, if you actually get to know those people, they tend to be really nice, right? But it's just that humans naturally have a shield against people who show those types of behaviors for the most part, right? So yeah, these are, and also another thing that we need to say about the modern man is that a lot of men nowadays are becoming feminized, becoming more feminine, simply because that's what women are demanding from men. Back then, men were more masculine. Why? Because that's what women wanted from a guy. Right? If you really think about it, the 60s, the guys were more hipsters and more hippie and more free love. After the 60s, it became more masculine from like almost from like the 80s to the 2005, 2000, like 10 or something like that. And then from then on, we have social media. Now people are looking at each other, and they usually do what they call virtue signaling. And as a result, guys change the way they come across to women, and now they're coming across as more feminine. And a lot of women don't like that, but the issue is that guys are reacting to social cues. They're observing that if they actually behave the way that they really behave, talk the way they really want to talk, say the things they really want to say, they will offend women, alienate them, and not have sex with them. So what these guys do is that they choose to come across as more sensitive in order to hook up with you. But what happens is that you make them your boyfriend, but then you end up banging the asshole, right? The guy that you're saying that you don't want in him. And a lot of times they end up having kids with that guy because women have more orgasms with the guy that they're cheating with. And orgasm naturally allows and increases the likelihood of pregnancy. And ironically, women have less orgasms with the men that they're with. Like with their primary partners, they don't have a lot of orgasms. But with the man that they cheat with, they have more orgasm, which says, evolutionarily speaking, that it's a strategy to get the security from the good guy and to get the genes from don't say that to Lexus, and to get the gene from the bad guy, quote unquote. Is it a messed up strategy? I mean, I totally understand why people see it as messed up, but in terms of evolutionarily speaking, it's a successful strategy and it has worked. It is what it is, man. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm gonna make a more in-depth video about the modern man the next time. Just let me know what you guys find, if you guys enjoy this type of topic, and I'll make more videos about it. And by the way, people, if you guys ever want me to listen in on your dates, as long as your state is legal for me to do that, listen in on your dates and me give you feedback based on how you're coming across on your dates. Like literally, you record the date, you send it to me, and I listen and I hear how you come across, and it'll be private, and I'll give you feedback, what you did right, what you do wrong, what you should do more of, what you should do less of. If you're speaking too loud, if you're speaking too fast, I'll give you that type of feedback. And I find that to be one of the most valuable things anybody can ever have. Now, at this moment in time, it's $400 simply because I don't have a lot of time to do it. But if people already purchased it, to be honest with you, so I don't even need to convince people. But what I'm saying is that type of feedback, people, I'm not kidding with you. That type of feedback is so valuable, so valuable. It's one thing for you to tell me what you do, but I am telling you, you do things right now that you're not aware of, that's coming across as really needy and as really desperate. A lot of times, it's easier to see the mistakes in others, but it's not easy to see our mistakes. Trust me. So I highly recommend it. Click on the description down below to check it out, and I can help you out in that regards, okay? Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so I want you guys to check out my new course called Nice Girl. It's available for purchase right now, okay? This course I specifically made for women who consider themselves nice, for women who are too forgiving, for women who let other people guilt trip them easily, for women who always give people the benefit of the doubt but always end up getting played. This course will teach you about people's actual manipulations, about the strategies that people use to extort from you, to take from you without you getting anything in return. Because nice people are in abundance in the world. And nice people, unfortunately, if they allow their nature to guide their lives, they will become bitter because they'll end up seeing that their niceness never leads to anything. So the goal of being a nice person is to get people to like you. But sometimes it has actual backward effects. Like it actually creates what you're trying to avoid. So this course will teach nice girls how to get what they want through being more assertive, how to express themselves, how to not get played, how to identify manipulation, how to reverse manipulation. So if you're somebody who's always had that consistently in their lives, who are always people pleaser, who are always being passive aggressive, this course will teach you how to communicate All of those things that you want to communicate with people without getting played. Okay, I'll teach you how to be more assertive. I'll teach you how to identify disrespect, because when you're a nice person, you have a hard time understanding where people are being disrespectful, because you're seeing the world through insecurity. You want to be liked, and so when somebody doesn't like you, you sort of twist it around in a weird way. So I show you how to see disrespect. I show you how to stand up for yourself. I show you how to deter aggressors. I show you how to avoid sending signs of weakness, and how to send signs of strength. Right? And I even show you a meditation on how to become more assertive. Check it out. It's a course that it's not a super long course, because I made it that length for a reason. I don't want to overburden you with too much information. This is just straight to the point. If you watch this course, you will get the results. This is not a 5-hour course. Okay, this is like a 2.5-hour course. So I think it's 2 hours or something like that. And the reason why that is because it's straight to the point. Okay, so if you watch that course, do what the videos say. You will over time overcome your niceness. Okay, purchase it now. In the description down below, you'll see where it says purchase Nice Girl. It's only $99, and there's a 30-day money back guarantee. No questions asked. You'll get your money back. Okay, because if you don't get it back, I'm closing the channel. That's for sure. All right, so I'll see you guys inside, and I hope you guys enjoy that course.